The Premier League returned this weekend, and the more things change, the more things stay the same. You know, Arsenal continue to be a meme. Chelsea and Liverpool got off to great starts. A Son stunner stole the game from Man City, and Pogba and Bruno showed why they have so many haters. It's because they're just that damn good. Welcome back to the Fraud Watch podcast. And I know what you want to talk about. Manchester United 5, Leeds United 1. I know that's on your lips right now. How do you feel about your team's performance? Because I thought they were extraordinary, to be honest.
So, I know Premier League in general was a really exciting open weekend, and I know my team did the most, and yeah, it was very vibrant. The fans were there, you know, PR stunts, Varane coming out with the shirts, you know, all that stuff.
PR merchants. PR merchants.
It worked, you know, like it really hyped me up, you know, and we know what they're trying to do, the club. They're trying to plaster over the cracks with the whole Super League thing and the whole fans protesting. So they're trying to please us, you know, with the way they know how. Yeah, we're not saying everything's perfect. It's not. It's very far from it, actually. But they're trying to get back on our good sides. Yeah. And you kind of feel after all of that charade that if we lose this game, but you know, we played well. We played some moving football, you know. And to be fair, Leeds weren't on it. They really weren't. Like, Leeds did what they did. They opened up and gave us all the space in the world. Like the amount of space Leeds were giving us. Jeez, my freaking life. It was insane. Like I remember for the first goal with McTominay, like one pass to Pogba and Pogba passed to Bruno, there was acres of space for McTominay to do whatever he wanted. So I think Leeds needs to work. You really need to work on that. But same thing last season, and they didn't crumble. They bounced back. They still finished in a good position. But United didn't have all our players. Sancho was on the bench. Varane, of course, wasn't playing. But it was the Pogba and Bruno show. The Pogba and Bruno. 4 assists in one game. 4 assists in one game. Assists. Tell me when your best player does that. Please call me. You don't, because I love Paul Pogba. And Bruno, you know, shutting up the haters, you know. They were saying, oh, he can't score from open play, you know. Oh, they're changing the penalty rules. It's going to be an accident. Bruno's like, oh, okay. 3 goals, hat trick, beautiful goals, and I was just over the moon. 5-1, top of the league.
Top of the league for now. But anyway, how much better do you think the squad gets when you've got your whole squad? When Sancho's a first team player, when Varane's a first team player, how much better does the squad get? Because like you look at the squad and some people will be like, did we even need Sancho and Varane to win the league? But how much better does the squad get? I feel like with the showing, United are scary. United are really scary.
Yeah. Like I think that's what we saw yesterday. Like it was a bit of a statement from Ole, imagine. And because this is Maguire and Lindelof, yes, they had their mistakes, but they're damn good partnership. Yeah. They're a good partnership. I mean, Lindelof was one of Sweden's best. Maguire was Maguire at the Euros. And they formed a proper relationship last season. And you could see it in the game against Leeds, you know. Yeah. As much as they've had their failures in the past, honestly, that probably comes down more to tactics because you see the zonal marking thing where it's not perfect. But in the last few weeks of the season, last season, they didn't make that many mistakes, you know, and hence we were able to finish second. So it is scary to think that there's 2 good centre backs, and now we're adding Varane on top of that, you know. Yeah. And we put 5 past Leeds. I know it's Leeds and they play ridiculous football, but to put 5 past Leeds when you don't have one of your top goal scorers, Marcus Rashford, when Tony Martial's on the bench, when Cavani is not there, when Sancho's not on the right, it's very encouraging. Yeah. And it goes back to, as much as I said it's a hard prediction with us winning the league, the only premise to us winning the league is that as much as Ole might seem like he's inept, the squad just seems that good. Yeah. So exciting times, really.
The Manchester United squad is scary. You know what else was scary? Arsenal's defending. What the hell is that? They let Brentford walk all over them. It was 2-0, but it could have been at least 5 with the way that Arsenal were playing compared to our Brentford, Brentford were all over them. How do you let a newly promoted side come in and boss you like that? I just don't understand.
Arsenal. Banter FC never seem to disappoint. And I look, you saw it coming. I thought they'd score, but I predicted a 2-1 win for Brentford. Because, Arsenal just haven't been on it. They've been in preseason. I think they haven't won one preseason game. Yeah. So for me, that was the first sign that it might go down, honestly. Yeah. And two, when you look at the lineup, Aubameyang wasn't there. Emma Smith-Rowe, I'm not really convinced, really. And Lacazette wasn't there. You could just see with Ian Wright's face, like when they pointed to him on the stands and when he was like analyzing that it was going down. Yeah. And you could see it coming because with all those frailties and the insane home crowd from Brentford, you could see that if the home crowd can cheer them on to play a very direct football like English teams do, they will trouble this very frail Arsenal team. And Tony and what's his name again, Mbeu, I think. Am I pronouncing it right?
I think so.
Whew. That partnership,
so
it is. And look, I said they were going to get relegated, but after that game, I think they'll put on the fight too, just because of those two players. Yes, the rest of the team is good as well, but they just link up so well, Like on the transition, they're so direct and they find each other on a consistent basis, And it like for me, I saw two talismans that can keep them in the Premier League when I watched that game. Yeah. So and I was really, really impressed with Brentford. And I remember it was a nice goal. I'm forgetting the guy's name, sadly, and it's a shame for him. The first goal.
Yeah, I can't remember.
And in general, really, like Arsenal just had nothing in that game. From minute one, Brentford dominated. Yeah. And towards the end, Brentford did sink a little, but even then, Arsenal weren't really creating that many chances. Yeah. So, it's X for Arsenal. They're playing Chelsea. You guys next.
Yeah, they're playing Chelsea, who won 3-0. 3-0.
And then Man City.
After basically dominating Crystal Palace and trying to drive Vieira out of London. It was a dominating game from us, but we'll talk about that later. Like, I've always said that the problem with Arsenal is their mentality. And do you think Ben White, as good of a player he is, do you think he can even improve this Arsenal side at this rate? Because I don't know, honestly. After watching that game, not that Ben White played badly, but like, it's just like, I don't know if he's going to improve this Arsenal team that much, considering the mentality and the players around him,
And it's a tough ask. And I'm going to go easy on him because it's his first game. And I think he's a decent defender. And he's only 21. I think he'll improve in the sense that he'll consistently be fit. I don't remember him really having a bad injury record. He'll improve in the sense that he has good ball control. He will be a consistent presence, which they've kind of lacked in. He's a tower above all of the rest of the defense. Yeah. Like, that's how it is. And we'll have the consistent presence from him. And it's about trying to find someone who can play with Ben White. Yeah. So I do think he will improve them. But will it be enough to be productive and do amazing things? I don't know. Yeah, I don't know really.
That's where I have question marks over it. Yeah. Brentford's pressure was relentless on Arsenal. Another team that had relentless pressure was Man City in the first half against Spurs, but they just couldn't finish the job as a Son wonder strike put a dampener on Peps opening day. How did you feel about that game? Because I thought it was close. I thought it was a close game where Man City did have the ball and they did put under pressure at Spurs at the beginning, but they just couldn't capitalize. And I was speaking to a Man City fan earlier, and he said the problem is that when Man City don't score very early, it becomes a problem. Do you agree with that assessment?
Look, I predicted a 3-1 Man City win, but like before the game, you would have seen my status, and I made a reference to Nuno, and like, I don't know, I read Nuno, and I low-key felt something coming. And the thing is, Man City, when they get going, it's hard to stop them. Yeah. When they get going, they will roll over everyone. But for me, they looked a little dead, to be honest. They looked dead. It just seemed like, one, the best players went on the pitch, And two, they didn't have that chemistry yet. You know, it wasn't going yet. Grealish looks like a Villa player playing in Man City, honestly. Like, so at Man City, I kept screaming at my TV because I'm crazy. I kept screaming at my TV, saying, "Wait, you're gonna take the ball past the ball." You know, those are the basics. Playing at Manchester City, but he get the ball and try to drive at players. And yes, he's gonna have to try and incorporate both styles and make it work, kind of like Mahrez has had to do.
Yeah.
But he did look a little bit out of place. Yeah. And then the rest of the team, no striker. You could see it being an evident problem. And the thing is, they worked so well with no striker last season because they had a gel going, you know, they had a flow going. The interchanging of Sterling, of Foden, of Gundogan, of Mahrez, you know, of Torres at the time. They don't really have that right now because the season just started. So with that in mind, I think Man City still have 50 years to go. but I do think they were a bit crap. I won't lie. Yeah. Spurs look good. Spurs look really good in my opinion. I said on a group chat that they'll play Alebo. You know, they were doing what I think Mourinho should have done when he was at Spurs. One, Nuno's not toxic. So I kind of feel like he can fire these players up a bit more. Two, tactically, I've argued this a long time, but Jose just might be dead. He might be finished. Because what Nuno did is what I've been screaming for Mourinho to do for a long time. You know, yes, you're going to play defensively, but you leave a couple of players up, so it's a problem for Man City, you know, and you hit them very directly on the counter. Yeah. Lucas Moura was absolutely amazing. Yeah, Lucas Moura was out of this world. You know, he gets the ball, he drives at people, linking up with Son. Yes, Son had a few duds where he could have shot, but he was complicating things. Maybe he was trying to be Harry Kane. I don't know why, but. Ultimately,
he knows something we don't. He knows something we don't.
And Bergwijn was good. Very direct, you know. So thing is, you can't put 10 men behind the ball and say, "Oh, we'll get a chance eventually." No. You put yes, you're very defensive. You put a lot of people are behind the ball, but you know, you have I don't want to call them triggers, but you have like players ready to put pressure on the Man City defense. Where if your CDM gets the ball, Skip, who played really well, and Hobie, they can get it to Son, and he can quickly drive, and he can link up with Lucas Moura. And it can be a consistent, relentless pressure, even if you're playing counter-attacking football. Yeah. And I think a good example of what we saw yesterday before was 2 seasons ago, Ole went to the Etihad, and he had McTominay and Fred kind of doing what Skip and Hobie were doing, and he had Martial, Rashford, and James doing what Bergwijn, Lucas, and Son were doing, you know, and it worked wonders. Martial terrorized Man City, and I really liked how Nuno set up Spurs.
Yeah, look, as you've alluded to, Man City is sort of obviously momentum is very important in football, but Man City need that momentum to get their stuff going, especially when they don't have a striker. Do you think that they need another talisman? Do you think they need another Kane so that when everything is dead, they can start up that momentum? Because I've argued that I think that that Man City are capable of doing it without a recognized number 9. I feel like they are capable of doing that. But in moments like this, when the game is dead, you do look and you're like, where are we getting any output from, you know? Where are we going to start the momentum from? So do you think they still need that one more signing, that one big signing left to push them forward when everything is slow and everything's not going? They can just light the match and say, okay, this is Man City, we're here, and they just score how we know they can, you know?
Yeah, I think so. I was in the kickoff and they made a brilliant point. Like last season, yeah, they can do it because they can drop points, but they still won't lose the league because Chelsea doesn't have a striker. United doesn't have a good, a quick centre back for when they need to play a high line and all of that. United and Chelsea have all those things now.
Yeah.
I know it's first game, but City are already 3 points behind. You know, like that's going to be the reality of the season, of this title race this season. You know, every game is going to count. So they could win. They won the league last season without a recognized number 9. I don't think they can do it this year. It's going to be too much of an ask, really. And it looks like they probably are going to get Kane.
Yeah.
And they probably will win the league if they get Kane, but they need Kane.
Yeah. Look, we talked about how Tuchel And we're going to talk about Chelsea and Liverpool in a second because they seem to have flown under the radar, even though they post 1-3-0. But with Tuchel sort of pocketing Pep last season and, you know, Ali's upsetting Pep, do you think people are just figuring out Pep's system at this point? Because I think it's starting to become a bit telegraphed, you know. And maybe obviously they still win the league, but do you think this may be a concern going forward that people are starting to figure out how to counter the system, especially now that they don't have a recognized number 9?
Look, I don't want to get ahead of ourselves because it's only one game, but I look, feel like this system was figured out a while back, but only certain few clubs can actually take advantage of it. We've seen Wolves under Nuno do it a lot of times. It's about counter, you know. It's about catching them when they play the high line because they always will. It's just in the nature, you know. It's the Barcelona DNA that Pep has. He always play high line, and if you put pressure on them, you know, if you throw enough bodies, but not risk your defensive setup, then you will beat them. And are you still here? You look a bit frozen.
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay, so yeah, so I think it was figured a long time ago because if you look at the teams that beat them, United consistently beat them counter-attacking. Wolves beat them a couple of times seasons ago, counter-attacking. Lyon, when they knocked them out of the Champions League, counter-attacking, you know?
Yeah.
So that is how you go at this team. But the thing is, as I said, not every team can figure that out.
Yeah.
And there's 38 games. And if they're going to lose 3 games and win the rest, they'll still win the league.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you know? So, yeah, it's a tricky one. Bottom line, I think Man City will still be up there.
Yeah. What's funny is that we're talking about Man City, we're talking about Spurs, we're talking about United and Arsenal, but we've left 2-3-0 victories just go under the radar. Chelsea and Liverpool started off very well. My team repping, even without Lukaku. So I know Chelsea and Liverpool basically dominated their matches. And, you know, it's kind of hard to focus on them when you had Arsenal being Banter FC and Man United sort of blowing Leeds out of the water. But what did you think of those two sides and how they did in their opening matches?
Flukes.
Whoa, don't make me come there.
No. You know, the other potential title contenders did all right.
Did all right. Those 3-0. Don't get cocky.
No. Chelsea looked good. First half, it kind of looked like Villa's Crystal Palace on bad, and they might give a decent showing. But as the game progressed, you guys just ran over them. And yeah, hold out of the ball, create a lot of chances, you know? Yeah. It's the Tuchel MO. And if they can do that game in, game out and score the goals with Lukaku, then there's no way they won't be in the title race, you know? Yeah. It's as simple as that. Chelsea just did what Chelsea does and played good football. The difference is, last thing they played, a lot of the time they play good football, but they wouldn't maybe win the game. Yeah. And then they won the game today. And it's about winning the game consistently, you know? Yeah. But they also have a side where they can be rugged, as we saw in the Champions League final. Yeah. So, things are looking good at Chelsea. And Liverpool, I like Liverpool, you know? I thought they looked better than what we saw at the back end of last season. Yeah. Okay, towards the end, they did get improved last season. But, you know, they looked a little bit of Liverpool of old, you know? Trent was there firing in the crosses, good tempo of the ball, Salah being Salah, you know? So I really enjoyed watching them. I was a little disappointed with that midfield, which we did point out is probably the weakest. I didn't see much from Keita. I didn't see much from Oxlade-Chamberlain. You know, I'm not convinced those two.
The midfield looked a bit dead,
yeah,
to be honest.
It looks a bit dead, yeah. So we'll see. I think Henderson stays. He's probably going to be so he already started, but like he's going to play even more games now. Yeah. What's his name again? Fabinho, of course, ever present because he's that good. And Thiago's not Ronaldo. He really is. Yeah. Different type of player. And I don't know if he completely suits his Liverpool system, but we'll see. But that aside, I thought they're really good. And yeah, now they go to Anfield to face the team that broke their streak. I don't think they would do that. So I'm a bit worried for Burnley and what Liverpool might do to them.
Yeah. Do you think, last question before we go, do you think there was anything that surprised you about the weekend? I know anything that surprised you, any team, any moment that surprised you during the first weekend of the Premier League? Because I was shocked at how well Brentford played. I know we always go back to that, but Brentford played really well. And it was a weird thing where they played very attacking, but it didn't look very naive as well. It didn't look like they were just like throwing people forward just for the sake of throwing people forward. It looked very calculated, very like they knew what they were doing. And obviously we've seen sides like Bournemouth. We've seen them play attacking, but it was very naive brand of attacking football where they just leave everything open. And obviously this is just the first game and we can't judge them based on one game, but they looked really good. They were my surprise package of the thing. Obviously Arsenal were very bad, but that's not surprising anymore. But any big surprise that you saw in the first Premier League match there?
Just to go on your point, I really, really enjoyed watching Brentford, and I haven't told you guys. I know you didn't score. Like the whole, he just looks like the player. That guy looks like the man. And I'm excited to see his season. And Brentford in general are nice. But another surprise, which I didn't expect. Look, I did have a funny feeling about Villa this season, but I didn't expect them to shock in the first game. Yeah. But Watford looked good. Watford looked nice. And I had on my fantasy bench, 9 points down the drain.
People are prioritizing fantasy league over actually watching the football. I see you. I see you.
That's his life. I don't know what you're saying. But no, Watford look good. I still think they'll get relegated. But they looked a decent outfits. And I think Saw is going to be a very important player for them this season. He's picking up where he left off when he was in the Premier League and last season in the Championship. So, exciting times.
Very exciting times. There are a lot of teams that look good. What did you think of the first match day of the Premier League? Premier League's back, baby. Put it down in the comments how excited you are. Who you think were the surprise packages? Who you were disappointed by? We were all not. You can't really say. Anybody who says that was disappointed about Arsenal in the comments, you're lying. You weren't disappointed because you expected this. But anyway, that is going to be the end of the Forward Rush podcast. I have been the Shy Kai. That has been Retha, and we shall see you tomorrow.